Welcome, viewers, and compliments of the season once again. Welcome back to Nigeria, where one day there's always one trouble. Just this morning, a video popped up on my news feed. Let's watch it together.
You say you are going to fight with me? No problem, go ahead. Go and ask Yaradua and Jonathan. Both were president. One is dead now, the other one went back to Otueke.
Welcome back. That is El-Rufai issuing death threat to all of his political opponents. Don't forget his recent fight with Bola Tinubu, the current president, and of course, Rene Omokri. Before I go ahead to dive into this crux of the matter, let us look at those El-Rufai had fought with in the past and where they are right now. Do we all remember the very popular Dandiata? Dandiata had an issue, a political debate. He's an activist. He called out El-Rufai, called out some northern politicians. But of course, today, Dandiata is not more where to be found. Nobody knows where he is. You know, surprisingly, Yaradua, as seen in that video, is smoking the dead. As you can see in that video, he is mocking, in fact, for me, one of the best presidents the North has ever produced. A socialist to the core, a man who would rather not see his people suffer above his own lavish lifestyle. Yaradua. Then secondly, look at El-Rufai there, boasting, gloating over the second-term election loss of Jonathan, saying that he single-handedly sent him back to Otueke. Now I'm beginning to understand why El-Rufai was rejected on his appointment when he was being screened at the National Assembly in the early 2023. You all remember, there were so many outcry then. People were saying El-Rufai is highly competent. Why shouldn't he not be, approved? Why didn't he get the pass mark and all that? Because some people were beginning to compare Bosun Tijani, who openly even abused, denigrated, and talked down on the sovereignty of the country. But why is El-Rufai not being passed? Today, I am beginning to see the reason why. It is clearly stated in this video, the comment section, which I'm going to share on the screen, that El-Rufai is more or less like an evil incarnate, that he has been very vile. That if we're going to go back to the genesis of Jonathan's wars, when he started having his issues in politics, most of the bandit attacks, most of the insecurity, because that was the main reason why Jonathan lost his election 2014 to 2015. You know, there have been serious allegations that El-Rufai happens to be one of the key components sponsoring it. You know, sometimes I might want to argue these things, but if we go back to Kaduna, if you go back to this insecurity in Kaduna, as of today, Kaduna has been relatively peaceful. Kaduna is relatively peaceful today, ever since El-Rufai dropped the baton of leadership. Now, is that an indication that maybe the past governor had, or maybe it was careless, or maybe it was indifferent, he didn't give a damn about the southern Kaduna security, or maybe perhaps he let that insecurity foster for his own political gain. Who knows? But watching this video might pass a lot of message that this is a man who, for political reasons, can issue death threats against his political opponents. And I think Rene Omokri at this stage should tone down his voice. But I understand that Rene Omokri also is a stubborn coconut head. But who am I? I'm just a political commentator. I can see why El-Rufai has been facing so many backlash from the cabinet of the president. These are people who see him as a threat, not just a political threat. They see him as a threat that might destabilize the North if he's not treated in the voice that he understands. Now I think I am beginning to understand why they are so aggressive in attacking him. The North have, in the recent time, shown that they can be highly desperate for power. The North are beginning to act like we didn't agree to have one Nigeria. By the way, I think that is a debatable statement from me. I mean, because I know my Igbo brothers do not agree. They never agreed. And I think even some large share of the Yoruba tribes never agreed. Maybe initially they agreed, but as of today, they don't agree. The Northerners have been the major beneficiary of this union, this fake marriage that we call Nigeria Federal Republic, where only the Northerners seems to get the major share in most of the juicy sectors of the economy, in the security, the financial sector, in the oil and gas sector, and so on and so forth. In the immigration, in the border security, where we'll talk about customs and all that, go and check the numbers of civil servants there. Go and just check and dig deep, check their place of origin. You'll find out that most of them are from North. Now, they are now power mongers. El-Rufai issuing their threat is unbelievable. I want to read some comments before I go ahead. Now, he said, look at what is being stated here. I understand Hausa. If Malam really said this, then he lost all respect for him. That is taken too far and very uncouth. I think that is a fair reply, a fair response. For me, I think that is a very, very disgraceful, and I think that is a statement that needs to be interrogated. It needs to be called out. You know, so many people said, I cannot stand this witch, this wizard. You know, so many people are now calling him out seriously. Some people even said, Daddy Atatu ended up, only you know where he is. Don't forget I initially said this. You can see it on the screen. Some people are saying, if them born in Papa well and in family, you should try with Tinubu. Some people are saying we need to go dig out that file that was presented during a screening so that we can see the content of that file. Some people are saying he finally found his match in Bana Ahmed Tinubu. If he thinks he's wicked, Tinubu also is pro-wicked. You know, so many people are calling him all manner of names. El-Rufai is a murderous rogue. This is becoming a serious conversation here. Can you imagine? Let President Yar'Adua, one of our best presidents since the return of democracy, God, how did we get away with such claim publicly? El-Rufai is so cool. Someone, lastly, a Chine Mere in the bus, he said, El-Rufai's middle of nowhere comments about the kidnapped Engravers College students while they remain in captivity confirm his status as a common child who should never have smelled the corridors of public office. No empathy, no compassion, no wisdom, and no sense of responsibility. In that video, El-Rufai presented himself like a god. You know, it was so boastful. It was not in any way remorseful to mock the dead. At this stage, I sincerely want to see a fair justice play out. You don't go out there, start threatening people with death, you know, threat and all that, just because they are now your political opponents. It doesn't make any sense. I am not in any way saying that Tinubu is a saint. I mean, there have been so many allegations in Lagos State where people say that Tinubu could be the hand behind the death of Funsho Williams. Serious allegations towards that. There were a series of investigations, but that wasn't found. And it has never been seen Tinubu coming outside to issue this uncouth statement that you are going to end up either in your grave or back home. Tinubu has always been strategic about his own political fight. We know how he has been dealing with Atiku. Everybody is aware of that. Everybody is aware how Tinubu even dealt with Buhari. Right? Everybody can see how he is dealing with Emefiele. Don't get me wrong. I am not saying Tinubu is a saint. I don't even like him. I don't support him. Right? But when you are going into a political arena to fight your political opponent, you don't come out, present yourself as an evil person. Today, everybody is tagging El-Rufai as an evil person. And I'm going to take a moment to advise some obedient who have been calling for a collaboration between El-Rufai and Peter Obi. There are so many people who have been saying that if Peter Obi must become the president come 2027, why don't he collaborate with El-Rufai? I mean, a large majority of the obedient camp have been postulating this merger. You know, they have been releasing all manner of communique, all manner of advice to Obi that why don't you work with a person like El-Rufai? I hope you guys saw the video. I hope you guys saw the video. And working with a man who can go to a length of threatening people that they will lose their life if they did not concur or do his bidding, I don't think that is a great partner to have on your side. Because if you ever do a mistake, if you have him behind you, anything might happen to you. You might get stabbed. You might get shot in the leg. So many, unimaginable things might happen to you. So you gotta be careful of this. Away from that, we now can say that the Northerners, right, can never be trusted with power anymore. This year, 2025, must be a year of significant, decision taking as Southern Nigerians. My advice to my Southern Nigerians is, do you want to remain in this contraption where the Northerners have a chokehold on power and they always feel every Southerner, whether you're Igbo or Yoruba or Ibibio, will always dance to the tune of their drum, being beaten? We must ensure that we build a capacity in ourselves to fight this northern hegemonics. Because at this stage, with what we can see from El-Rufai, and of course so many Buharists who today are saying all manner of, unimaginable things against the Southerners. Yeah. They are saying all manner of things. We must work together. We must put aside our differences. We must work for a common purpose. Are we going to retain the power from the North? Or are we going to allow the North to continue to divide us because maybe our religious differences? At this stage, I think it is becoming obvious that Nigeria is gradually coming to its end. Thank you. Bye for now.
I represent Kogi West. My Excellency Governor Nasir El-Rufai, your performance in any office you find yourself in this country has been outstanding. In BPE, your record is there. in FCT as a minister, your record is there. And as two-time governor of Kaduna State, you did well. But I have a very strong petition against you that borders on security, unity, and cohesiveness of Nigerian nation. And I think that petition has to be considered along in this screening exercise.
Senator Sani Musa.
Thank you, Mr. President. As said by previous speakers, El-Rufai is well known to all of us, Nigerians, and in fact to the international community. And as agreed by all of us, he has done very well in all the offices occupied, from DG BPE to FCT Minister and two-time Governor of Kaduna State. I had a question before, but given the President said by this Senate yesterday regarding the two other governors who were asked to take a bow and go, I want to join my colleagues to insist and to request that he should take a bow